felt rushed? Like things are picking up super fast and you got to solve them faster and faster, and you're working with people who are like, we got to hurry up. There's no time. Have you ever felt rushed by people where the issues and the matters at hand are just moving so fast that you're making split-second decisions? You're not looking at everything that you should. Things are starting to fall through the cracks because you're not paying attention to the details. Today, we're talking about mind over matters. Mind over matters. And so for today's business energy flow forecast, we want to be more vigilant about using language that causes us to feel rushed and hurried, and speed makes sloppy. You can type that in the comments below. Speed makes sloppiness. And so be kind to yourself. If you've been feeling rushed by someone, something, organization, your kids, your clients, your colleagues, your spouse, right? Your community around you, or just all the peanut gallery in your head is telling you, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Today in particular, we want to look at receiving help with releasing this feeling of being rushed, because the rush causes us to worry, and that emotion of worry makes us sloppy, causes us to detach from the importance of looking at the details, looking at the facts, just the facts, ma'am, right? It caused us to forget how we did it last time and we did it right, but no, we gotta hurry up and reinvent the wheel now. Blah. Like, let's release that today in particular. Sensei Victoria Whitfield here from strategicmeditation.com. I am your journey partner in business. Go gadget brain. Yay! It's my joy to help impact-driven entrepreneurs and leaders like you get and stay grounded and clear in mind, body, and business. My goal in being your journey partner is to help you increase your energy so that you can increase your income and impact, right? Your energy is everything, especially in business. Now, if that speaks to you, if you want more support on that, holla, let me know. Right? Click the link in the description of this video, or wherever you're watching this, to reach out, and hit like, share, subscribe so that more people are able to access this information. But let's get to the topic of the day, mind over matters, right? In the practice of Reiki, I'm a Reiki master, right? And that's what helps me manage my energy, and different concepts from the practice of Reiki has helped me teach my clients and students how to increase their energy, right? And balance it out so they can continue to endure in doing good things in the world. I believe that when more good people make good money, more good happens in the world, and they need that energetic support so that they can continue to endure in the good work that they're called to. And Reiki is a wonderful Japanese practice in my toolbox personally that I share with those who work with me. And one of the parts of practicing Reiki is understanding the 5 Reiki precepts, or the 5 Reiki principles, however you want to call it. Last week I mentioned, just for today, don't be angry, right? Or I will not be angry. We mentioned that in the last episode. This is the second of our 5-week episode series on the power and the problem of language. Today in particular, I want to introduce you to the second Reiki principle, and that is kyo dakeba shinpai suna, right? So that means just for today, kyo dakeba shinpai suna. Don't worry. No worrying. No worrying. And especially in this topic of mind over matters and rushing, the more we rush, the more worried we get. And the more worried we get, the more stuff falls through the cracks. We start getting sloppier and sloppier. So be kind to yourself. Do you worry a lot? Do you rush yourself? Type in the comments below if you get worried or if you rush a lot. Let's look at this and especially be vigilant about it today in particular. So, okay, this is our topic. We're looking at letting go of rushing and freaking ourselves out so that we can keep our heads on straight and make the right decisions that have maximum benefit, maximum positive influence. So let's look to history for an example of what that looks like in action. We're going back to Think and Grow Rich, another wonderful story from this powerful book by Napoleon Hill, from chapter 1 on thoughts are things. My spirit guides are telling me to pause for a second and remind you that language is powerful. And so not only is it the words that have power, but also their delivery. How you deliver the words that you say matters. And when things are coming up and someone or you see some news report or something, right, coming up that is delivered in a like alert, emergency, breaking news, freaking out, or blah, or this is the worst ever, or the best ever, all this emotional inflammation, what that can do is throw an extra ton of energy on already the power of words to influence you. But now we've got words plus emotion influencing you. And like we were talking about last week, words can be so powerful that they cause us to forget our own intelligence, to forget to fact check. It's like, wow, that sounded so true. No. Pause. Is that true? Let me go back, right? Go back. So that's what we talked about last week. But now we're looking at words plus emotion in the delivery, because the matters that come up, they're going to come up. Life is going to happen. But can you get your head on straight, even as things are getting really emotionally intense and appear to be real or appear to be really like truthful or sounds true? Let's take a look at this. And I love this story. A 50-cent lesson in persistence. Shortly after Mr. Darby received his degree from the University of Hard Knocks and had decided to profit by his experience in the gold mining business, he had the good fortune to be present on an occasion that proved to him that no does not necessarily mean no. One afternoon, he was helping his uncle grind wheat in an old-fashioned mill. The uncle operated a large farm on which a number of black sharecrop owners farmed. Quietly, the door was opened, and a small child, the daughter of a tenant, walked in and took her place near the door. The uncle looked up and saw the child and barked at her roughly. "What do you want?" Meekly, the child replied, "My mom says to send her 50 cents. "I'll not do it," the uncle retorted. "Now you run home." But she did not move. The uncle went ahead with his work, so busily engaged that he did not pay enough attention to the child to observe that she did not leave. When he looked up and saw her still standing there, he yelled at her, "I told you to go home. Now go, or I'll take a switch to you." But she did not budge. The uncle dropped a sack of grain he was about to pour into the mill hopper, picked up a barrel stave, and started toward the child with an expression on his face that indicated trouble. Darby held his breath. He was certain he was about to witness an assault. He knew his uncle had a fierce temper. When the uncle reached the spot where the child was standing, she quickly stepped forward one step, looked in his eyes, and screamed at the top of her shrill voice, "My mama's gotta have that 50 cents. The uncle stopped, looked at her for a minute, then slowly laid the barrel stave on the floor, put his hand in his pocket, took out $50 and gave it to her. The child took the money and slowly backed toward the door, never taking her eyes off the man whom she had just conquered. After she had gone, the uncle sat down on a box and looked out the window into space for more than 10 minutes. He was pondering with awe over the whipping he had just taken. Mr. Darby, too, was doing some thinking. That was the first time in all his experience he had seen a child deliberately master an adult. How did she do it? What happened to his uncle that caused him to lose his fierceness and become as docile as a lamb? What strange power did this child use that made her master the situation? These and other similar questions flashed into Darby's mind, but he did not find the answer until years later when he told me this story. Napoleon Hill's writing. Okay, tying this back to mind over matters. All right, matter at hand. For the uncle, he's doing his work in the mill. He doesn't want any foolishness, doesn't want to be bothered. Matter at hand for the little girl is, my mom told me to get this 50 cents. We don't know what she was worried about would happen if she didn't get that 50 cents. And we don't know what the uncle was worried about would happen if he didn't keep consistently doing the milling right then and there. But whatever was on that little girl's mind, it made her so fierce that no matter what he was going to do, or even appear to threaten to do, he was bigger than her, older than her, owned the entire place, owned where her mom was living, right? She rented on his property as a sharecropper, right? Even though he was as a total authority figure, bigger, stronger, scarier, louder, wealthier, man, grown man versus little girl, even though all the cards were stacked against her, she stood her ground, got in his face, and let him know she wasn't gonna budge until she got her needs met. Why does this matter? Why are we talking about this? Because she had made up her mind. Even though he yelled at her, even though he got all emotional at her, even though he came at her with a weapon, that didn't change her mind. Her mind was above the matters at hand. So powerful. She didn't allow him to rush her out, right? He was like, go and get her or else I'll beat you, right? That's what a switch is, right? She didn't allow herself to be rushed. She was clear and continued on her purpose until she got what she needed. And even though she was the underdog, she still came out winning, which is so powerful. How amazing is that? Today in particular, my spirit guides are saying, watch how you are thinking when everything around you gets really emotional. If you can keep a clear head, if you can stay focused on getting the goal, getting things done, no matter what people are saying around you, you will win. You will make it to the end, right? You will get your needs met. You will finally reach your goal. If you can keep your head on straight, right? But watch out for people trying to distract you, or situations and matters at hand trying to distract you emotionally from staying on track. But okay, that's what history says. What about science? So, as I mentioned in the last episode, over this 5-episode series, this is the second one, we're going to be looking to technology and AI science for insight on the power and the problem of language, how it affects and influences us, and how we can use it to affect and influence others and the world around us. And how we're doing that specifically is looking at large language models of AI, and ChatGPT is an example of a large language model where you use language you speak to a machine and it talks back to you, right? In the exchange of information. So this is from an article from the end of 2023 off of nature.com. It's a scholarly article called The Future Landscape of Large Language Models in Medicine. And it's by Klausman et al. Just like 20 contributors. It's like a ton of people wrote this together. And I want you to pay attention to the importance of not rushing. Don't rush, because in fact, what you're worried about could very well save your life. And if you overstep that, you could do some serious damage, right? Don't let words and the things people say, or even how they say it, like in the historical example, don't let that distract you, because if you forget some of the details, they could end up being actually even fatal. So we're talking about in medicine. Hello. Large language models are artificial intelligence tools specifically trained to process and generate text. LLMs, large language models, attracted substantial public attention after OpenAI's ChatGPT was made publicly available in November 2022. LLMs can often answer questions, summarize, paraphrase, and translate text on a level that is nearly indistinguishable from human capabilities. The possibility to actively interact with models like ChatGPT makes LLMs attractive tools in various fields, including medicine. Pause. Who's using ChatGPT? Like, go ahead and comment below. Are you using ChatGPT? And if you are, what are you using it for? Go ahead and comment below if you are using ChatGPT. I am. I know so many people who are using it. I use it to help me come up with demographics, come up with ideas that I can riff on for copywriting. I also use it to help me find research articles, right, on topics that I'm looking at, such as for this series, right, as an alternative to Googling something. So that's what I do. But go ahead and type in the comments below, what do you use ChatGPT for, if you do? Unpause. While these models have the potential to democratize medical knowledge and facilitate access to healthcare, they could equally distribute misinformation and exacerbate scientific misconduct due to a lack of accountability and transparency. Pause. How's that so? Isn't everything Google say right? Isn't everything that ChatGPT says absolutely true? No. It's the equivalent of walking up to, like a helpful person and asking them a question about your life. You don't know them, but they want to be helpful. Would you just do what they say, or would you check what they recommended to actually be the truth? Right? We tend to believe. This article is so good, by the way. It's the nature.com one in the list. You really need to read it. I know it's long, but I'm telling you, this is so good. Unpause. In this article, we provide a systematic and comprehensive overview of the potentials and limitations of LLMs in clinical practice, medical research, and medical education. Ethical use and misinformation. LLMs can provide broader access to medical knowledge. However, despite recent improvements in factual accuracy, the recurring issue of misinformation and potentially harmful consequences for patient care remains. Technical options to overcome limitations in factuality and mitigate bias-related harms can generally be implemented throughout the entire development process of LLMs. Input data can be improved through sampling and filtering processes. Model architectures can be augmented to incorporate factual information from databases or knowledge graphs. Harmful outputs can be detected and rewritten on an inference level, and harmful and false model outputs can be flagged and redacted. These possibilities have been insufficiently employed to date, and a legal framework to handle potential issues will need to be established before clinical usage of LLMs for decision-making or therapeutic recommendations is taken up. Pause. What is that? What did you just read, Victoria? I don't understand science talk. So let me break this down very quickly. In that paragraph, he explained four ways that GPTs, like ChatGPT, used in a hospital can kind of kill people. And that's not good. And so there's 4 ways that need to be looked at. 4 things we should be worrying about, which were input data, model architectures, harmful outputs, harmful and false outputs being flagged, right? So those 4 things could potentially kill someone. That's what that said. We should be worried about that, is what that paragraph said. Unpause. We anticipate the following ethical issues presenting significant challenges that must be addressed. First, data privacy is the utmost importance to protect sensitive personal data that is routinely assessed, documented, and exchanged in clinical settings. Reports of data leakage, documented and exchanged, reports of data leakage or malicious attempts are concerning and have to be addressed. Attempts specifically through prompt injections. What does that mean? People can steal your data using ChatGPT. Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah, they can. Implementing APIs into independent, secure applications rather than using interfaces such as ChatGPT could solve the issue. A second challenge that arises from the lack of publicly available training data sets and source code is the output quality. As the output quality of any model is highly dependent on the quality of the input data, it is crucial for the scientific community to gain insights into the underlying data of current LLMs. Lastly, to date, the development of LLMs has been driven primarily by commercial companies such as OpenAI, Microsoft, Meta, and Google. To prevent medical knowledge and healthcare access from being restricted to global monopolies, it is essential to encourage the development of non-commercial open source LLM projects. Pause. What does that mean? What is all that science talk, Victoria? So in that paragraph, they outlined 3 problems as well as 3 solutions. Paying attention to data privacy, paying attention to that problem can yield results, right? Can yield innovation. Paying attention, secondly, to the lack of publicly accessible information can yield to results of innovation, make things better and more open. And lastly, paying attention to the problem of global monopolies driving like the innovation for their best interests, that problem can create a solution of, well, let's take it away from the monopolies and do it open source, right? Which means everybody is driving the innovation, not just the people with deep pockets. If you don't pay attention to the problems, if you don't make time for what you're worried about, you actually can't innovate, especially around security measures. You can't make the right security innovations if you're not paying attention to the security problems, the security worries. Understood? Unpause. It is anticipated that LLMs will have a substantial impact on clinical care, research, and medical education. However, it is important to be aware of and consider their limitations. LLMs have been shown to reproduce existing biases and are susceptible to hallucinating false information and spreading misinformation. In the context of medical and non-medical education, students are vulnerable to misinformation and might fail to develop the required critical thinking capabilities. Currently, there are no mechanisms to ensure that an LLM's output is correct. There's no fact checking. This substantially limits the applicability of LLMs in clinical settings, as errors and misinformation could have fatal consequences. So I'm going to stop that. Relating this back to mind over matters. If you're, in the instance of this article on LLMs, if you're only relying on Googling stuff, on Wikipediaing stuff, on ChatGPTing stuff, you are basically using a flawed system to get you the truth. That's problematic. If you start only relying on these helpful tools and crutches for you to be well informed, if you're only relying on, here we go, TikTok, if you're only relying on YouTube, if you're only relying on the media, if you're only relying on Joe Schmo, your friend, or Betty Boop, your girlfriend, if you're only relying on others to get to the truth, you're relying on a flawed system. And this gets exacerbated when we add speed, right? If you're like, I gotta hurry up. No, tell me what happened. That's what happened. Oh my God, I'm so angry. And so you're gonna go and be angry and then come to find out, oh, that's not what happened? Well, I spent all this time being pissed off and pouring all this money and energy into this situation. What? Oh, you didn't know? Well, when did you find out? This is what we need to be vigilant about. Slow down. Mind over matters, right? My dad would always say this to me and my brothers growing up. He said, I over E. Intellect over emotions. Don't let the emotional environment of your workplace, of your relationships, of your social media consumption, of your community, don't let the emotional intensity mess with your ability to keep a clear mind. A clear mind. I am clear. Go ahead and type that in the comments below. I am clear. Pulling the card for the week, for the day, is the Four of Earth coming as a challenger. And it says, being too frivolous or too cautious with money, good business decisions, giving to those less fortunate. So the Earth in this tarot deck, the Earth suit has to do with our resources, how we manage our resources of time, money, space, energy, and relationships. Being a good steward of your resources. And 4 has to do with stability. So with mind over matters, I'm not even going to read because we don't need that right now. With mind over matters, you have got to stop resisting, right? Because upside down means we're resisting looking at this. Stop resisting taking care of your stuff. Mind your time. Mind your energy. Mind your space, your physical space. Mind your relationship. Mind your money. Mind it. Everybody's emotions are getting all blah, 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 blah. I don't know what's going on, right? I've recorded this early, so I have no idea what's going on. But today in particular, shinpai suna. Don't let anybody make you worry. No worries. Instead, mind over matters. Get your head on straight. And here's the action step of the day to assist you in doing that. So you're going to log on to school, skool.com/be visionary movement, all one word. And you're going to type in the search bar in our member center there for feeling deeply safe. feeling deeply safe. This is in the love and protections category of our vault of visualizations. It's 15 minutes long. And so what you're going to do, because now we've talked about it, now you need to be it. You need to feel it in your body. And so when you do the feeling deeply safe meditation, I recommend it daily. This is going to help you let go of the worries and feel them letting go off of you so that you can be a clear source of decision making. You can have your head on straight so that you take the right next step in life and business. Now, you may have come to the end of this video and you're like, Victoria, this was so thought-provoking. I love the AI and the spiritual, and I love Think and Grow Rich, blah, 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 but I'm not ready for school yet. I have a ton of questions, right? And I don't just want to comment below. I want to ask them to you directly. Cool, absolutely. Go ahead and click the link in the description. You can hop on my call calendar, right? It's complimentary, half an hour. I'd love to talk to you one-to-one about your questions, see how I or someone who I know can help. Or you can send me a DM. Again, click the link to any of my social media outlets there to really go in depth with your questions so we could speak more privately. Maybe you don't want to ask your question publicly. So sending love to you and looking forward to connecting soon. If you've made it to the end of this video, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And what are you waiting for? Hit the share button. Share this on your page, wherever it is, so that more people have access to this healing information. Let's be voices of reason during such a crazy time on our planet. I'm sending you so much love. Big hugs and love. Sent to Victoria Whitfield from strategicmeditation.com. And remember, you do not have to lose your glow as you grow in life and business. See you in the next one. Bye for now.